Hello, fans, and welcome to This Day in Baseball, where we're going to bring you a full radio broadcast of today's game. And before we do that, I just want to thank Classic Baseball Radio, and there's a link in the notes where you can check out their full channel. They have many great radio broadcasts. And while you're listening to today's game, if you want to check out much more about the game and the players, look on the links below, and you're going to see links to player pages, the date the game happened, the year it happened, and the play-by-play. Enjoy the game, and check out the links while you're watching the game, and please don't forget to hit the subscribe button so that every time new content comes out, you're going to get that firsthand. And thank you again for checking out This Day in Baseball, and enjoy the game.
Throw in front of him. First pitch is bounced into right field, out of the reach of Johnson, and up with it is Frank Robinson, and Bobby Tolan on the first pitch singles to right field. So Tolan now is it safely in every World Series game. Only he and Lee May had it safely in the first three. All right, here's Pete Rose. You have to think that Rose, Sparky Anderson is going to pull out all of the stops, and he may have Tolan go here in a hurry. Ted Krzyzewski coaching at first, Alex Glamis at third. Powell holds the corner as Rose steps up to the plate. 3 for 12 in the series and fouls back the first pitch. Jim Palmer, who took batting practice yesterday, did not take batting practice today, is quite a gabber. He likes to talk. He spent between his swings in the cage about 20-25 minutes. Just gabbing away. Tolan at first, nobody out. Bobby leans, he goes. The pitch is swung on a bouncing ball at second, up with it Johnson, no play at second, goes to first. Rose is out with Tolan moving up to second base. One out, Tolan on second, and here's Tony Perez. Perez, I think you have to say, has been a disappointment for the Cincinnati Reds so far in the series. He has had one hit, a single, in 10 times up. He had 40 homers on the year, batted in 129 runs, and was the leading hitter on the club with an average of .317. He stands deep at the plate, fairly close to the plate, but back in the batter's box, and Palmer stretches for the first pitch. Cut on and missed strike one. Good high fastball. Palmer pitched a complete game in the championship playoffs and 8 2/3 of the first game in the World Series. Pete Rickard came on to get the final out in that first game. He's ready to work again. And Perez checks and takes one high for the ball. 1 ball, 1 strike. Left-hander Jim Merritt, who warmed up in the bullpen yesterday, has told Sparky Anderson that he'll be available for relief today or to start tomorrow. An off-speed pitch is a ball, strike 2. Fine, slow curveball, and Perez is in the hole. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The Orioles have just been tremendous. 17 consecutive victories. That's some kind of streak. Palmer's 1-2, his ball too high outside, and Perez had to work to keep him swinging. Baltimore's previous consecutive game-winning streak was established in 1966 when they won 10 in a row. It's now up to 17 in 1970. Perez fouls one out. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Tolan at second, 1 man out, first inning. Game 4. And as we said, the Reds have their backs to the wall. They've got to win or forget all about it and think about 1971. Palmer from the belt, 2-2. Struck him out. Perez stands on a good fastball. 2 down now. Tolan spinning his wheels at second, and Johnny Bench steps up to the plate. Bench is 2 for 11 in the series. With 45 homers and 148 runs batted in during the regular season, led the major leagues in both those departments and batted .293. Palmer ready and pitching. Slow curve, got it inside, ball 1. Palmer at the moment has 22 wins and 10 losses. Finished the season with a .271 earned run average, completed 17 of his 39 starts. misses with one low outside fastball, and he's 2-0 to bench. On deck, Lee May. Reds batting, first inning, no score. Tolan on second. They play bench deep left. 3:09 right now on the line. It's close. The pitch is high. 3 balls, no strikes. Straight away, left and right, 360 feet. It drops off quickly to 380, then to 390, and finally straightaway center field is 410 feet. The bullpens in left and right center. 3-0 to bench with Tolan at second. Palmer. Sign out of Ellie Hendricks from the belt. Swung on and popped up. Foul outside first. Coming over. Blue foul in front of the Reds dugout. Ken juggled it and caught it back-handed. He juggled it with his mitt, reached up over the top of the dugout and caught it with his bare hand. And Bench is out and the inning is over. No runs, 1 hit, and 1 man left. And the score after a half inning, the Reds nothing, the Orioles coming to bat.
Well, all last winter, manager Earl Weaver, the Baltimore Orioles, was telling anyone that would listen that the New York Mets made 7 catches in last October's World Series with both feet off the ground, and that is what beats them. I'm sure that the Cincinnati Reds feel the same way. Brooks Robinson has been terrific. Davey Johnson has been excellent. Paul Blair has been something to see in center field. And Bruce Cal going to the dugout to get the ball in his glove as he leads into the dugout to have it pop out and then be picked up by his bare hand. The Reds must figure it can happen again, but it seemingly always does. Last of the first, Jim McIntyre.
John Buford leads it off, a switch hitter batting left-handed, 4 for 11 in the series. First pitch from Gary Nolan. He cuts on and misses, strike 1, slow curveball. Buford, Blair, and Brooks Robinson have hit safely in each of the first 3 games. The Reds defensively in a moment. Right now, Gary Nolan is getting set to pitch again. He blocked the bunt, slid his hands up the handle of the bat, and took it high for a ball. 1 ball, 1 strike. Lee May is at first, Tommy Helms at second base, Dave Concepcion at short, Tony Perez at third, in on the grass, Carbo in left, Tolan in center, Rose right. Buford checks and fouled it, and it's 2 strikes to ball. Behind the plate is Johnny Bench, and on the mound, 22-year-old Gary Nolan, already a 4-year veteran of Major League. Gary's 6'3", 195. Here's his pitch. Off speed and missed with it outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Blue skies beginning to break through overhead, and the clouds are being chased away. They play Buford to pull just a bit in the outfield. The pitch to him is a ball high and away, and Nolan is 3-2 to it. Gary, in the first game, just made mistakes. He got the fastball up to the Baltimore power hitters, and they took care of it. He's 49-27 his lifetime in the big leagues, and his 3-2 pitch is popped up foul behind the plate, and Bench comes back, but it's going to be on the screen. Out of play. No one has said anything about a 4th or a 5th game pitcher. You have to think the Orioles would come back with Mike Cuellar, and the Cincinnati Reds would come back with Jim McLaughlin if there is a game tomorrow. 3-2 again is ball 4, and Buford. John Buford gets the base on ball. That'll bring up Blair. Right-handed hitter. He hit 267 on the year and is having a great series. He's had 6 hits in 12 at-bats, including 1 double and 2 RBIs. Reds infield looking for a double play ball as Nolan gets his signal. Buford leads. The pitch comes. It's one. It's first base. There's his bare hands up with it and out at first. And holding at second base is Buford. We'll wait to see if the official scorer credits Blair with a sacrifice. Meanwhile, we get Boog Powell coming to the plate, who's 3 for 9 in the series, including 2 home runs, 4 RBIs. with 297 on the year. And got 35 homers and knocked down 114 runs. Big Boog Powell. I have to think Blair was bunting for a base hit, but the official scorer will determine whether he'll get a sacrifice or not. Nolan's first pitch to Powell is high, ball one. Fastball up and in. Coaching for Baltimore, Billy Hunter at third base with the signs, and at first base, George Stoller. At second base, Buford, one out. No score. Bottom half of the first inning, the pitch. Swing and a miss, and a bluff throw to second by Bench. Concepcion, who has swung around, not overly shifted, but just to the left of the second base bag. Didn't come in far enough to get the throw, so Bench held on to it. One ball, one strike, one out. Nolan pitching carefully to Boog Powell. Swung on and missed. Strike two, an off-speed curveball. One ball, two strikes. They are going to give Blair a sacrifice. So Buford is at second base on Paul Blair's sacrifice, Perez to May. Now ball, two strikes to Big Boog Powell. Big and strong, and he can hit it a long way. Nolan throws. Ground ball sharply to first. Lee May backhanded stab, races Powell to the bag, wins the race for the out, and going to third is Buford with two out. Frank Robinson coming up, and he is something. Frank hit 306 on the season with 25 home runs, and he got his first World Series home run in 1970 yesterday. He's 3 for 13 in the first three games. With two out, Buford on third, here's Robinson. Crowds the plate. Time is called, a piece of paper out on the right side of the mound, and Robinson wanted it picked up, and Nolan picks it up, shoves it down in his hip pocket. Frank Robinson, 35 years old, but still swings a mean baseball bat. Takes a curve for a strike at the knee. Breaking pitch now. Airplanes sailing overhead. Trailing advertisements for this and that and the other. Nolan, the stretch, no windup. And a slow curve is strike two, right over. Robinson started, checked his swing, and the pitch broke right over. And he has something to say to the plate umpire. So does Earl Weaver from the Baltimore dugout. Now, Nolan, with two strikes, checks with the Reds dugout and may or may not wind up. He may stretch again. Let's see. He'll stretch for the 0-2. Curve nubbed off the end of the bat foul, right side. He's thrown Frank Robinson 3 straight breaking pitches. He has to remember Robinson's home run yesterday on a fastball up and out over the plate that he hit beyond the 410 sign in center field. There is a breeze blowing today toward left and left center. Nolan pitches. Strike three, call a fastball in the outside corner. And the Orioles go down with no runs, no hits, no errors. One man who walked left on. At the end of one inning of play, it's the Reds nothing, the Orioles nothing.
Now, the one thing that I have noticed as we go back over the games and checking the scorecards, Frank Robinson has been called out now 4 times on called third strikes with the fastball. And as Jim McIntyre said, then Nolan set him up with 4 straight breaking pitches. And then Frank was caught looking at the fastball right down the middle. Nothing, top of the second. Here again, Jim.
Lee May steps up to lead off for the Reds in the second inning with 4 hits and 11 at-bats in the series. And he pops the first pitch up behind the plate. Ellie Hendricks back to the backstop and can't get it. It's on the screen, strike one. Lee May and Bobby Tolan, the only 2 Cincinnati batters who have hit safely in each of the first 3 games. Tolan has had 3 for 12, including a homer and a double. And Lee May is 4 for 11, including a homer and a double, and has batted in 4 runs. Lee has hit the ball hard nearly every time he's been up. Takes a fastball inside at the letters, even count, 1 ball, 1 strike. Baltimore defeated the Dodgers 4 games to 9 in 1966. Lost to the Mets last year, 1-4. His ball 2 up and in to May. They won 5 straight World Series games, then they lost 4 in a row, and now they've come back to win 3 straight in the Classic. 2-1 slow curve is strike 2 call. Off-speed curveball, and Lee May was scuffling around in the batter's box at that pitch. Couldn't get set. Here's the 2-2. High and inside, ball 3, fastball. One thing about Palmer, he didn't waste any time. He gets the ball and says, let's go. 3-2 pitch, low curve, and he missed it high. Ball 4 and walks Lee May. And Palmer puts up a beat as he gives up his first base on ball. So the Reds get a runner again in the second inning. The Reds have had base runners enough in every game to have won a few. May at first, left-hand batting Bernie Carbo. Outstanding rookie. Hit .310. Batting left, and the first pitch to him is a strike at the knee, good fastball. Carbo is a strong candidate for Rookie of the Year honors in the National League. He'll get some votes. Has an uncanny eye. Led the club in walks. Swing slices 1 foul on the upper deck to the left. 2 strikes to Carbo. Next up, Tommy Helms. May at first. Nobody out. No score. Second inning. Carbo waiting. 0-2. Struck him out with an off-speed pitch. Carbo fans, second strikeout for Jim Palmer. First out in the second inning, Tommy Helms to the plate. Tommy hit .237 this year, had 1 home run, and is 1 for 12 in the series. He hit the first home run by a Cincinnati Reds player in their new Riverfront Stadium. Throw to first, May back easily. Lee is not a threat to steal. But they'll play hit and run with Tommy Helms anytime. Good bat control. Palmer delivers. A ball high outside, looked like a slider, as Helms shortened on the bat but stepped away from the plate. Davey Concepcion, rookie shortstop, is on deck. 2 rookies in the Reds batting order today. The pitch to the plate is slice foul, back up to the right. 1 ball, 1 strike. Been a runner-up in earned run average in the American League the last 2 seasons. Helms fouls away another pitch, 1 ball, 2 strikes. He finished with a .234 ERA last year, second only to Dick Bosman, who posted .219, at a 2.71 this year. Second to Diego Segui's 2.56. Helms struck out. Palmer's got the strikeout pitch going right now. 3 strikeouts, all of them swinging. 2 out now, and Dave Concepcion to the plate. Slender, 22-year-old Venezuelan. He is the first resident of the state that he comes from in Venezuela to play in the major leagues, and received quite a few honors and ceremonies in Cincinnati this season. He takes the Palmer fastball outside, ball 1. The Oriole outfield gaps in left center for Concepcion. A throw to first, runs May back. Blair is shallow toward right, with Robinson crowding the right field line. and Buford off the left field stripe. The pitch. Swung on, lined into right center field for a hit. The ball is going all the way to the fence, extra bases. May to second, Heath to third. He's around third scoring. Concepcion headed for third and is there sliding with a triple. Davy Concepcion lines one between Blair and Robinson all the way to the Reds bullpen fence. And he is at third base with a triple. Davy's third run batted in this series. He batted in 2 of the 3 runs the Reds scored yesterday, one with a single, one with a fly ball. And here he triples home Lee May with 2 out in the second, and the Reds take the lead 1-0. Gary Nolan up, swings at the high, bouncer to Johnson at second, plays the hop to Powell easily, and that retires the side. 1 run, 1 hit, 1 man left on, and the Reds lead at the end of an inning and a half. Cincinnati 1 and Baltimore 0.
Hey, Bud, if you want to get in on a terrific deal, listen to this. You know the Gillette Techmatic razor? The razor that gets the nubs? Well, here's the deal. Right now, when you buy the Gillette Techmatic razor, America's top-selling razor, you get a can of Gillette Foamy Shave Cream with lemon lime free. You get that? Foamy with lemon lime free. So what are you waiting for? Get the Gillette Techmatic razor now. A deal like this don't last forever.
I can down the Dutch Strait, hear the moo coyotes wait. I'd walk a mile for a camel. I'd walk a mile, wouldn't you? I got a wandering soul, beat up boots with a great big hole. I'd walk a mile for a camel.
This message was strictly for smokers who never tasted a Camel cigarette. Camel smokers, you know what we mean. You other guys, start walking.
Cincinnati Reds have a 1-0 lead going in the last half of the second. Moving into our NBC broadcast booth here is a fellow who really doesn't need any kind of introduction. But we'd like to get his observations, if we may, during this bottom half of the second inning. Mickey Mantle. Mickey, have you ever seen a club in recent years any better balanced than Baltimore?
Well, the only one I could think of right now would be the Cincinnati Reds. I think that the Reds are a very good ball club. Before the game, I was on NBC TV with Tony Kubek, and he asked me the same question. I think that the 1961 Yankees had a real good infield. We had Boyer, Kubek, Richardson, and Templeton at first base, and we had a fairly good outfield. Myself and Roger and Tommy Trey. But I think that all 3 of the ball clubs are just about the same. I think these 2 ball clubs will probably be in a series next year, and it could be a reversal next year. The Orioles could. I think they're that close that the Orioles could be that. Very good.
Nolan's first pitch, a called strike to Brooks Robinson on the inside part of the plate. Brooks hitting at 242. It takes the curve, and it didn't break enough straight inside. That's the ball. 1 ball, 1 strike. Brooks has just had a fantastic series with the glove. They say he does that all the time, Mickey.
Jim, I think that this is last year I was overwhelmed with the plays that the Mets made because most of them weren't supposed to make those kind of plays. Mike Swoboda made probably the greatest play I've ever seen in a World Series. Everybody expects Brooks to make great plays, and he still surprises everybody.
That's
so
right.
He's had a hell of a series.
Yeah, the next pitch, a high ball, and here's a pitch foul back, and we got an even count. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Brooks Robinson. Well, you know, over in the National League, we don't get a chance to see this fella. But as you say, everybody here just sort of takes it for granted. I don't know. Maybe it's true, but I don't see how he can make these kind of plays day in and day out.
Well, I always thought that Clete Boyer was probably as good a fielder as Brooks until this series. I think this is a clincher.
Curveball fouled back by Robinson. The count stays 2 balls, 2 strikes. A gap in right center field for Brooks Robinson. Play him to pull. Although Carbo is not shaded toward the line in left, he and Tolan are fairly cozy out in left center. Gary Nolan out in front, 1-0 throws, and it's a curve grounded foul past third.
Gary's got a real good curveball today. Whenever you see Frank Robinson looking for a curveball on a 2-0 pitch and taking a fastball down the middle, you know that the guy's got a good curveball.
Yes, sir. Robinson swings it to keep the left toward the corner, and it's a home run. Series home run of 1970 has brought the Orioles right back on even terms, 1-1. That's the first hit off Nolan, and Brooks Robinson made it count.
I guess that's what you call putting it all together.
That's right, Mickey. He's putting it all together. Ellie Hendricks, dead full hitter to right field. Swings at the ground ball at Tommy Helm, shoots to his right, up with it, and puts it to first, an easy play, 1 out. I'll tell you one thing, Mickey. You have to think the Orioles have a little charisma this year. It just seems that way.
Well, it's the same thing as last. I don't know if you know or not, but last year I picked the Orioles to beat the Mets. And I said and watched the same thing, except it was on the Mets side last year. This year the Orioles are just the best ball club I've ever seen in a World Series game.
They just do everything right. Nolan hits a fastball over to Johnson for a call, strike 1. Davey Johnson, batting right-handed, is the hitter for the Orioles. He hit .281 on the season with 10 homers and 53 RBIs, and he's 2 for 8 in the series. A fastball missed outside, and it's 1 ball, 1 strike. That's Brooks Robinson's 3rd lifetime World Series home run. He won last year, 2 this year. Gary Nolan on the mound for the Reds, delivers, and it's swung and a bounce right back to him, 1 hopper. He has it and throws him out easily. Ooh, well, I wouldn't say easily. He almost threw it away.
If he had me on first base, that guy'd be on second now.
The shortstop, number 7. All right, 2 out, nobody on, and Mark Belanger, the shortstop, steps up. 1 for 11 in the series, right-hand batter, first pitch to him. Swinging a foul back. Made the TV booth next door. I didn't see Chuck Thompson reach for it. Did you? One strike to Belanger. Nolan works. Got it high and inside. Knocked him off the plate. The ball 1-1. Mickey, do you enjoy coaching?
I enjoy being back with the players. I think the thing that I missed out being out of baseball more than anything else was the association with the players and the competitiveness. I really don't miss being around the hotels and stuff like that.
And flying.
Yeah, the traveling.
Yeah, being away from your family. Nolan is high with the next pitch, 2-1. He works again, and Belanger fouls it back. 2 strikes, 2 balls to Mark Belanger. 2 out. And a 1-1 tie in the last half of the second inning. Well, I think all of the young fellows coming up in the Yankee organization have to benefit from your experience and your teaching ability, Mickey. I think you can show them a lot, a whole lot.
I'm not that good a teacher. I did most of mine through instinct, and I hardly knew how I did it.
Belanger hits a looping fly ball out of the short center. Nolan comes in, he camps under it, waiting, and has it for the 3rd out to retire the side. 1 run on 1 hit, Brooks Robinson's homer, nobody left on. And at the end of 2 innings of play, it's the Reds 1 and the Orioles 1.
Howard Baker. Well, how many potential Hall of Famers do you suppose are playing in this 1970 World Series? Judging by the performance records, there should be quite a few. I've got a nominee you haven't even thought of. His name, Andy Granatelli. No, Andy doesn't play baseball, but he's got quite a performance record all his own with STP oil treatment. On the racetrack, Andy and his racing teams have proven STP cuts heat, friction, and wear. That's because STP clings to vital engine parts, lubricates better than ordinary motor oil alone. It helps race cars and family cars run smoother, cooler, quieter, longer. Now that winter's coming on, STP can help you in another way, because STP will not drain off engine parts overnight. So on cold mornings, you get the benefit of extra lubrication, which means faster start. So put a famous name on your driving team the first time you need oil, or the next time you change oil, have your service station add STP oil treatment, and you'll run racer shot. Well, what about Brooks Robinson? Home run that won the first game, single that tied the second game is double. Drove in the first 2 runs yesterday, down 1-0. His home run, the first hit off Gary Nolan, ties it at 1-1. And here's Jim McIntyre.
And Bobby Tolan, the top of the batting order, leads it off. First pitch from Palmer is a ball high as Tolan ran up on it, bluffing a bunt. 1 ball, no strikes. Well, Nolan has made the same mistake twice to Brooks Robinson. Here's a ball too high, and Palmer is up a little bit with these pitches. Reds have 2 hits. Orioles 1. Tolan takes the pitch low inside, and it's 3-0. Palmer issued 100 walks in 305 innings during the season. His 3-0 is a ball too high, and Tolan walks on 4 pitches. Well, again, I'll point out, Bobby led the majors in stolen bases, and he's at first base with the left-hand batting Pete Rose at the plate. The second walk issued by Palmer. It wouldn't be at all surprising to see Tolan try to field. Rose rounded out the first time. Palmer checks and throws in. Tolan bluffs to go. Pitch is hit deep to right center field. Base hit. Blair chases it, cuts it off. Tolan wheels toward third. Here's the throw cut off by Belanger at short. Tolan is then standing at third, and Rose holds with a long single into right center field. Red's third hit. Runners at first and third, and nobody out. I think we're going to get some action down in the Baltimore bullpen. Somebody's getting up down there. The phone is ringing. And while Allie Hendricks talks to Palmer out of the mound, it reminds me of an incident that happened here yesterday down in the Reds bullpen. Larry Shepard, the Reds pitching coach, answered the phone down there, and it was the long-distance operator trying to reach Sparky Anderson in the Reds bullpen. Dave Leonard is the pitcher in the bullpen beginning to warm up as Tony Perez digs in and swings through a fastball, strike 1. Perez struck out the first time with Tolan on second. Here he is with Rose at first, Tolan at second, at third, and nobody out. And the score tied 1-1. Bench on deck. A stretch for Palmer and the pitch. And a swing inning is strike 2. Tony has to wonder if he's got a hole in his pack. 0-2. Deep straight away. Stretch, look, and the pitch. And he's right on the inside part of the plate. Palmer gets his 4th strikeout, swinging. Second time he's gotten Perez. 1 away, and Johnny Bench, who popped a foul that Boog Powell reached up over the Reds dugout and caught barehanded after juggling it with his mid-hand. And I might point out that was a 3-0 pitch that Bench went out on. Diggs in. First pitch to him is ball 1 high. Dave Leonard warms up in the bullpen for Baltimore, a right-hander. Palmer to the belt and pitching. And Bench hits it a high pop foul back of the plate to the left and out of play. Ellie Hendricks gives up on it as it lands on the screen. 1 ball, 1 strike. The pattern so far by Baltimore pitchers to Johnny Bench has been to keep the ball up. But if you throw it up there, you better have something on it. But they've been feeding him high fastballs. And so far, it's worked pretty well. He's only hit 2 hits. One of those a homer. and he's right now 2 for 12. That averages out to 167. Here's the pitch. High pop fly, shallow left, going out. Belanger getting under it. Stolen at third on the bag. Catch made. Stolen draws the throw, then goes back. Rose holds at first. There are 2 down, 2 on, and Lee May coming up. In the first game, the Reds got Palmer wobbly in the first inning. They scored 1 run and had 2 men on base when Carbo lined out. He was put in a hole in the first inning that wiggled off the hook and went on to pitch 8 2/3 innings and get the victory. They've got him wobbly in the third, but he's still here. Lee May, who drew a walk and scored the Reds' run in the second inning, digs in. Palmer stretches and delivers. Swung on a ground ball up the middle, Sweet left. Belanger dives, knocks it down, picks it up, can't make the play. And Colin scores, Rose is safe at second, and May is on at first. 2-1, the Reds lead. That's a hit and an RBI for Lee May. His 5th run batted in the series. A great stop by Mark Belanger to keep the ball in the infield. Here's Barney Carbo now. 2 on, 2 out, and 2-1 Cincinnati. Carbo was a strikeout victim the first time. First pitch to him. Strike 1 called. A fastball at the knees. Well, the Reds show some resiliency here and bounce back and go back in front after Robinson had put them even. Palmer works and it's swung a bouncing ball to third. Brooks Robinson gloves it and tags the bag for the third out to retire the side. 1 run, 2 hits, 2 men left. And in the middle of the third inning here in Baltimore, it's Cincinnati 2, Baltimore 1.
Remember this, Gillette's good old look sharp, feel sharp, be sharp. Well, times have changed, and so have razor blades. Today, Gillette Platinum Plus blades have revolutionized shaving with a platinum smooth edge that shaves you smoother, closer, and with even more comfort. Hard to believe? Try Gillette Platinum Plus double-edge or injector blades in your razor. Find out what it really means to look sharp, feel sharp, be sharp. Platinum Plus, Gillette's best blade.
Members of the Retail Clerks Union vote by secret ballot to approve agreements with their employers. As union members, they have a voice in determining their conditions of employment. To every adult American, the right to vote is valuable because when you cast your secret ballot, you have a voice in determining the quality of the government of your country. So be sure to vote November 3rd. This message from the Retail Store Employees Union in your community, chartered by the Retail Clerks International Association, Washington, D.C., 20006. Going into the last half of the third inning, the Reds have 2 runs on 4 hits. They've left 4 men on. The Orioles, 1 run on 1 hit. They've left 1 man on. And Jim Palmer will lead it off.
Pitching for the Orioles, number 22.
Baltimore has hit 8 home runs in the series so far. Palmer takes the pitch a little high, ball 1. As a batter, his lifetime batting average in the American League, 152, 44 hits, and 289 times at bat. He's hit 3 homers. It's the drive to center field. Bobby Tolan coming on the run. Can't get it. It's in there. Palmer singles to center. He hit that ball off the end of the bat, and it sounded like it was going to go a lot further than it did. So, hit number 2 for Baltimore as Palmer comes through. That'll bring up John Buford, the top of the order, who drew a walk to start the game. Got around as far as third base, put his left there when Frank Robinson looked at the call third strike. The Reds have turned in 4 double plays in the World Series so far. The Orioles have turned in 2. And right now they're looking for one off Buford's bat. He hits a high bouncer, short first, slowly up with it. Lee May on the line, tags Buford out, and on the play going to second is Palmer. So no sacrifice, although it serves the purpose. Runner moves to second, one out, and Paul Blair. Blair bunted down the third baseline first time up, but Buford at first. He was credited with the sacrifice. Right-handed batter. 6 for 12 in the series, 1 double, 2 RBIs. And a hit here might tie it up again. Nolan stretching, pitching, fastball, strike call. The leadoff batter for each team has been on base in every inning so far. Nolan from the belt and pitching. Blair takes the curve, strike 2 call. Letter high curveball. Blair thought it was a little too high and walks away from the plate to get the rosin bag from the bat boy. Doesn't have anything to say, but you can tell from his actions he didn't care for the call. 0-2 the count. On deck is Boog Powell. Stretched by Nolan, the pitch. Did he go? The pitch was a fastball. He started and checked his swing in time. Hit the ball, 1-2. The Orioles and the Reds played an exhibition game, preseason game, the last 4 years up until this year. This year they didn't play a spring game. Struck him out with an off-speed pitch. Blair fans for Nolan's second strikeout. That puts 2 down and brings up Powell. Grounded out to Lee May unassisted in the first inning. Big Boog.
Number 26, Boog Powell.
Reds 2, Orioles 1. 2 out, Palmer at second, last down to the third inning. Nolan's first pitch is inside, ball 1. Powell did not get a hit in yesterday's game, but in the 2 games played in Cincinnati Saturday and Sunday, he was big man with a bat. Nolan leans in, has his sign from Johnny Bench, makes his stretch and delivers. Outside, ball 2, 2 balls, no strikes. Concepcion with a runner on second base is just a little bit to the shortstop side of the bag. Tolan in right center and Rose deep in right. Nolan ready, 2-0, fired. Ball 3, high and outside. 3-0 to Powell with F. Robinson waiting. No strikes. Gary ready and pitching to Powell. He takes it, ball 4, low and away, and gets the base on ball. Second walk off Nolan. Oriole runners at first and second with 2 out, and Frank Robinson, who was called out on strikes, coming up.
Number 20, Frank Robinson.
Robinson. Nolan to stretch and deliver. Swing and a miss, strike 1. Off-speed pitch inside. He likes the look of it. Time is called as one of the Reds players, looks like catcher Pat Corrales, across the playing area into the Reds bullpen out in deep right field, and he's followed by Jimmy Stewart, another player. The bullpen for the Reds evidently is going to stir into action. Looks like Clay Carroll getting up. All right, here's Gary getting his sign to pitch to Robinson. Curved him low and away, and the ball is knocked down the bench. A throw to second base, and Palmer is back inside safe. The Reds bullpen features Clay Carroll, a right-hander, and Don Gullett, a left-hander. Sparky Anderson wants to have somebody ready in case Nolan needs some help. He's 1-1 to Frank Robinson. 2 men on, 2 men out, pitching. A check swing foul to the Reds dugout. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Clay Carroll has been the most effective Cincinnati pitcher out of the bullpen. Pitched in the first 2 games. At first, Palmer at second, 2 men out. 1-2 to Frank Robinson. Nolan delivers. Curve, bounce foul, left side. And a nice catch by a gentleman sitting one of the field boxes back there. Well, I think it's well known. I don't think we have to repeat it, but just to remind you, there's no tomorrow. If the Reds lose today, Baltimore will claim the World Championship. The pitch to Robinson is throwing a shot ground ball into left field. A hit around third, headed home Palmer. Here comes Carmo's throw, and he scores standing as the throw is off the line. Frank Robinson comes through with another hit and another run batted in. And Baltimore climbs right back even, 2-2. That's the third hit off Nolan. And we got a 2-2 ball game, and here is Brooks Robinson. On that throw home, Boog Powell stopped that second. It's 2-2. Here's the first pitch to Brooks, and it's the ball low outside, fastball. Brooks Robinson with 2 home runs and 5 runs batted in, and a magician at third base with a glove, waiting for Nolan's next pitch. Here it is. High and tight, ball 2. Gullett and Carroll continue to throw for the Reds. Bench is out at the mound talking with Nolan. Brooks Robinson has hit safely in every World Series game. Buford and Blair need hits today to keep their streak going. For the Reds, Tolan has hit today, and so has May. So they've hit safely in every game. The conference between pitcher and catcher is over, and Bench is back on his haunches to hang the sign. The pitch comes, and it's a strike called on the outside edge. 2 balls, 1 strike. Frank Robinson at first, Boog Powell at second, 2 out. 2-2 tied, and 2-1 to Brooks. Nolan shakes off 1. OK's the next one. Here it is. Swung a hit up the middle, and into center field for a hit. Powell rounding third, and the ball gets away from Nolan. Frank Robinson going to third, Brooks Robinson into second, and the Orioles take the lead, 3-2. Cincinnati misplay in a series, and with the Orioles taking a 3-2 lead with runners at second and third, Anderson is out at the mound, and Sparky wants the left-hander from the bullpen, Don Gullett.
All right, Jim McIntyre, at the moment as Gullett is on his way in, we pause 30 seconds for station identification.
KGW Portland, saving money is a little like baseball. Coming out on top requires a winning combination. For savers, Equitable Savings has that combination. High earnings, including the 5 1/4% 90-day passbook savings account, plus an extra bonus, S&H Green Stamps. 1 stamp for every dollar saved in any Equitable Savings account, up to 1,000 stamps per deposit. Get your extra bonus now when you save at Equitable Savings.
Jim Simpson with Jim McIntyre back at Memorial Stadium in Baltimore, and the Orioles have taken the lead 3-2. And guess who did it? Brooks Robinson, who homered his first time up in the second to tie the ball game at 1 apiece. Then Cincinnati took the lead, and here with 2 outs in the third inning, it is Brooks Robinson singling sharply to center field to drive in a go-ahead run, move Cal. Frank Robinson had driven in the tying run with a single on a 1-2 pitch. Don Gullett, who is coming in, is that 19-year-old phenom from Kentucky who has appeared in 2 ball games thus far, has worked a total of 4 innings, and has an earned run average of 2.25. He's given up 2 hits, 1 earned run, walked 4, struck out 2. Gary Nolan, who has departed, has worked 2 2/3 innings, has given up 3 runs, all earned, on a total of 3 base hits. He has struck out 2, and he has walked 2. Makes that 4 base hits for Gary Nolan. Al Gullett, of course, is a left-hander, and the first man he will be facing is a left-handed catcher, Elrod Hendricks, who, as Jim McIntyre pointed out, is a dead pull hitter, but we've got to go back to the second game again. When he doubled in the winning runs, they were doubled inside the left field line, and he said that's the first time in 12 years he's ever hit a ball there. He normally hits it to the first base side. But Baltimore leading 3-0 in the 1970 World Series, and the best 4 out of 7 series now leads this ball game 3-2 in the last of the third. Hendricks steps in, and here again is Jim.
All right, Jim. First time up, Hendricks bounced out to Tommy Helms. And here's Gullett winding to fire. A fastball outside, ball 1. The bullpen continues with Clay Carroll throwing. Gullett making his 3rd appearance of the series. Facing Ellie Hendricks. Time call while Hendricks gardens a spot for his left foot. Runners second and third. 2 down, the wind and the pitch. And a strike at the knees, good fastball. The Orioles have plated 2 runs here with 2 outs. Palmer opened the inning with a single, moved to second on an infield out after Blair had struck out. Howell walked. Frank Robinson and Brooks Robinson had singles. There's a swing and a high pop foul toward the third base side. Coming back, Johnny Bench at the backstop. He can't get it. 2 rows in the field box. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Billboard sign out in front of Memorial Stadium here in Baltimore, and after the series last year it read, wait till next year. During the season they made it read, wait till this year. And they're just now waiting to paint it again. Here's the pitch. Hard ground ball in the right. Robinson scores. Here's the throw from Rose trying to get Brooks Robinson, and he is down at home. It's a single for Hendricks and a run batted in. And Brooks Robinson is out at the plate trying to score from Rose to Johnny Bench. So in the inning, Baltimore gets 3 runs on 1, 2, 3, 4 hits, a total of 5. And with 1 error for the Reds, they had 1 man left on base. And at the end of 3 full innings of play, it's the Orioles 4. The Reds 2.
As we go to the 4th inning, Jim McIntyre, we got to figure that the big red machine had better get in a high gear. They trail now, and Jim Palmer, of course, his lifetime earned run average is less than 3 runs per ball game, same this year.
Helms on the first pitch hits it right at Frank Robinson in right field, and he gathers it in, and there's 1 out for Cincinnati in the 4th inning. I'll tell you, Jim, the Reds, somebody said needed some STP.
I tell you what. Sparky Anderson and crew can be very proud of what they've done this year. Win, lose, or draw today, but without Jim Merritt available, there's been a different kind of series.
A strike is called to Davy Concepcion. Davy tripled and batted in a run in the second inning. And the next pitch from Palmer is a curve. Strike two called on the outside edge. And Concepcion is behind quickly 0-2. You don't find many fellows who work any quicker than Jim Palmer. There's a ball to him high. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Bob Gibson of the Cardinals is the same type pitcher as Palmer. Has an off-speed pitch low, and it's 2 balls, 2 strikes. He gets the ball back from his catcher and winds up and lets her rip. And he's 2-2 to Concepcion, 1 out, none on, 4th inning. Here's the pitch. Slow curve, grounded, foul, bad third. Baltimore 4 runs on 5 hits. They have 2 runs on 4 hits. Play Concepcion, short right. The pitch to him. Swung, a ground ball right side to his right. Up with it. Johnson over the foul, 2 away. And Don Gullett will take his turn at the plate. Don was a good athlete. Scored quite a few touchdowns in his senior year in football in high school. Somebody said he scored 12 touchdowns in 1 game. He said, no, that wasn't quite right. He only scored 11, but he did kick 6 extra points. Swing and a miss on a good fastball. 2 out, Reds batting top of the 4th. Orioles ahead 4-2. Now the pitch, and they swing a little roller foul right side, a little bouncer. Hendricks grabs it, flips it back to the mound. So Palmer quickly gets ahead of this batter. 2 strikes. 0-2 to Gullett. Struck him out with a fastball. 5 strikeouts for Palmer. Nothing across in the 4th for the Reds. In the middle of the 4th inning here in Baltimore, it's the Orioles 4, the Reds 2. Three in the Baltimore batting order will be coming up in the last half of the 4th inning. Davy Johnson, Mark Belanger, Jim Palmer. Don Gullett. Johnson bounced to the mound the first time. He's looking at a left-hander, Gullett, in the first pitch. Off speed and over, a curve, strike called. Straightaway outfield. Next pitch to him. Ball high, fastball. Gullett has been compared favorably to a pretty fair left-hander that you've heard and seen many times on NBC, Sandy Koufax. Now the pitch. Curve, and he pops it foul back right out of play. 2 strikes, 1 ball. Davy Johnson, the batter. Baltimore up in the 4th with a 4-2 lead. A home run by Brooks Robinson in the 2nd inning, and after 2 men were out, 3 runs in the 3rd. There's a looping fly down the right field line, chasing it. Lee May near the stands, runs out of room. It's in the seats, out of play. Been playing hide and seek ever since the game started. The weatherman really a baseball fan. 1 ball, 2 strikes, the pitch. Swing and a foul out of play, getting a piece of it. All of the Oriole runs were charged to Gary Nolan. 4 of the 5 hits off Gary. He walked 2, struck out 2. Gullett has allowed 1 hit. And there's a high fly to deep right center. Holden chasing it, throws Rose. Pete calling for it and takes it, backpedaling for the out. That ball was hit pretty good. 1 away, Mark Belanger steps up. He's flied out in the only trip to the plate, runs for 1. Great with a glove. Chokes up a couple of 3 inches on the end of the bat. Gullett fires. High inside, ball one. Don works again. Broke a curve low, ball two. The Reds would like to see Don Gullett pitch in winter baseball in Frederico to perfect that curveball and changeup and get a little more control of his fastball. There's a little low liner, one bounce, Helms backhands it and puts it to May, and they're two away. Here's the pitcher, Jim Palmer, who should be applauded roundly by the Baltimore fans because he's done a fine, fine job. These Baltimore pitchers can hit. He singled to start their rally last inning. Swings, fouls one back, strike one. Don Gullett. Boy, what a picture this young man has. Only 19 years old. Blows a fastball right by him. Cut on and missed, strike two. Gullett signed out of Lynn, Kentucky High School in June of last year, and here he is in the big league. Curve and a foul back. 0-2 the count. 2 out, nobody on. Last half of the fourth. 4-2, the Orioles are leading. Game 4. They're also leading in games, 3 games to none. All right, the wine and the 0-2, and it swung on him. Missed. He struck him out. 3 up and 3 down. First strikeout for Gullett. At the end of 4 innings of play, Game 4, Baltimore. It's the Orioles 4, the Reds 2.
You remember a guy in the big leagues named Frank Baker? Well, they called him Home Run Baker. But the most home runs he ever hit was 12. That's kind of like calling the slicked down look you get from most hair dressings natural. I mean, how natural can your hair look when it's all loaded down with grease? That's why you'll like Vitalis. It holds your hair in place without any grease. So if you want to look good naturally, don't kid yourself. Use Vitalis. That's Vitalis. It's greaseless. Well, Baltimore leading this one in the 4th game of the World Series by the score of 4-2. They win today, and as Jim McIntyre says, we all pack and go home.
Yeah, that's right. As the retail store employees unions are well known for their achievements on behalf of more than 600,000 members. Their union agreements with employers provide for good wages, liberal hospitalization, and retirement plans. They vote on their union agreements by secret ballot. The retail clerks unions urge all adult Americans to cast their secret ballot on November the 3rd. This message from the Retail Store Employees Union in your community, chartered by the Retail Clerks International Association, Washington, D.C., 20006. Bobby Tolan will lead off for Cincinnati in the 5th inning. He has been up twice and on base twice, singled in the first, walked and scored in the 3rd, left-hand batter. It's the looping pop fly, short left, racing out. Belanger gets under it and takes it. 1 away. Palmer is following the same kind of pattern that he displayed in his pitching in the first game of the World Series. As the innings roll by, he seems to pick up a little steam and seems to get better. Pete Rose steps in. 1 for 2 today, a single. Grounded out in the first, single to center field in the 3rd. Palmer doesn't waste any time. Fires the first one, and Rose looks at it, and it costs him strike 1. Now the next pitch, that's also strikes at the knees, a good fastball. The wind, which was favoring left and center earlier, has now shifted around and is blowing toward right as Rose chops the foul in the stands to the left. He sort of reached out and tomahawked at that ball, cut under it, and looped it foul. He was merely trying to protect the plate. 0-2, 1 out, none on, 5th inning. The pitch is a check swing. It's high, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Rose had to work to keep from on the way. That's a changeup, and it's outside. 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. The Orioles are a very confident, calm club. Rose fouls off another pitch. Talked to them before the game here today, and to a man, they are confident it'll all stop here today. 2-2 to Rose. Chop foul behind the plate, and that was a ball low and inside, but Rose didn't want to take any chances. Two again. Foul away, left field. On deck, batter Tony Perez. Reds have been in front in 3 of these 4 games. Here's a pitch in the dirt, and it's 3-2 now for Rose. 3 balls, 2 strikes. They were in front in each of the first 2 games. Never did get the lead yesterday, but today have been in front 1-0 and then 2-1. And now are behind 4-2. Here's the pitch to Rose. High fly, left field. Back goes Buford. Warning track. Front of the bullpen. Can't get it. It's out of here. Home run. Hit to the opposite field. Rose hits it in the Orioles bullpen in deep left center. And the Reds come back and now trail by 1 run, 4-3. First World Series home run. His second RBI. And now it's 4-3, and here's Perez. Taking ball 1 low. 5 hits for the Reds now. Perez swings, drills it deep to center. Blair racing back. He's at the warning track and makes it. 4-10 sign straight away. 2 down. Here's Johnny Bench. Bench is open 2, is fouled out and popped up. Palmer goes to work. Bench hits it high and deep to left. No, not deep. Buford's coming in. He's under it and makes the catch for the 3rd out. Ball was hit right off the end of the bat. It sounded like it's going to go a lot further than it did. So in the 5th inning for the Reds, 1 run, 1 hit, and nobody left. And in the middle of the 5th inning, Baltimore 4, Cincinnati 3. You know, I've known and talked to a lot of great ball players over the years, and there's one thing they all seem to have in common: tenacity. Yes, sir, they all know how to hang in there when the going gets tough. Well, here's something else that literally hangs in there: STP oil treatment. STP actually clings to vital engine parts, lubricates better than motor oil alone. And with winter on deck, that could be very important to you. You see, ordinary motor oil drains off vital engine parts when your car sits overnight, so on cold mornings, it's mostly metal against metal in your engine, which really makes it tough on your engine and battery. But STP stays up on engine parts all night. So in the morning, you've got all the extra lubrication you need to help you start fast. And then STP goes to work to keep you running smoother, quieter, longer. So next time you fill up, have your local service station add STP oil treatment to your car. It's the same racer's edge leading race drivers and millions of motorists depend on. So use it yourself soon. It'll help you get the edge on winter. We pause now 30 seconds for station identification.
This is KGW Fort. Whether you're rooting for the Reds or the Orioles, you'll end up on top at Equitable Savings. Equitable Savings offers top earnings, including the 5 1/4% 90-day passbook savings account, plus an extra bonus, S&H Green Stamps. 1 stamp for every dollar saved in any Equitable Savings account. Up to 1,000 stamps per deposit. Get your extra bonus now at Equitable Savings during their 80th anniversary.
We're ready to go in the last half of the 5th inning, Game 4 of the 1970 World Series. And to bring you the bird's eye view of the last half of the game, here is NBC's Jim Simpson.
And thank you, Jim McIntyre. Got it ready with the fastball inside to Don Buford, the leadoff batter, here in the last of the 5th inning. The score, Baltimore 4, Cincinnati 3, and this is the fourth game of the 1970 World Series. Buford walked on the 3-2 pitch back in the first inning, then sacrificed along to second, and then went to third, then Powell grounded out, but he stayed right there. In the third inning, he was tagged out by Lee May at first base, and the runner, Jim Palmer, moved on down to second, and later scored on the base hit by Frank Robinson. Jim Palmer has made some mistakes. He has walked a couple of men, both of whom have scored, and he's given up the home run to Pete Rose in quite a battle. Pellet ready, fastball in trot again, 2-0. That Rose home run all the more remarkable because Palmer was out in front of him 0-2. Pete battled him back, fouling off pitches, worked it up to 3-2, and then homered to the opposite field. Low from Gullett, and he has gone 3-0 on Buford. Was hit safely in the 12 games at the end of the regular season throughout the league championships and the series until today. He has walked today. Gullett, the 19-year-old left-hander, ready on a 3-0 pitch, and Buford is waiting and takes the strike. 3 balls, 1 strike to Don Buford with Paul Blair on deck. Clay Carroll is up and throwing now for the Reds. Sparky Anderson doesn't want this one to get away. The 3-1 pitch is over at the knees. It's 3-2 to Buford. At the end of the last inning, I should say the top half of this inning, Baltimore's Earl Weaver has Dave Leonard up and throwing again. 3-2 pitch to Buford. He fouls it back to the screen. 3 balls, 2 strikes to Don Buford. 4 runs, 5 hits, no errors for Baltimore. 3 runs, 5 hits, and the first error of the series for Cincinnati. Gary Nolan started this game, lasted 2 1/3 innings. Pellet came on in the third. Here he is still in the fifth. Ground ball to the right side. Helms goes to his left, scoops it up, and throws on and has the speedy Buford by a couple of steps. 1 out in the last of the fifth. And here is Paul Blair, who sacrificed bunt, moved Buford along in the first inning, and then he went down swinging at a changeup in the third. Matter of fact, Blair in the third inning was the second out. And it looked as though Nolan was going to get through the inning before he walked Powell and gave up singles to Frank and Brooks Robinson and to Ellie Henry. First pitch is high. Blair, ball 1. This is the 67th World Series. The American League has won 39 of them. National League 27. 10 of the last 16 have been won by the National League. 1 ball, no strike. Count is fouled right back to Fordyce. It's 1-1 to Paul Blair. Blair has hit safely in every World Series game except this one, as has John Buford and, of course, Brooks Robinson, who was 2 for 2 today with a home run, a single, and a total of 2 RBIs. Fastball is out of the strike zone. 2 balls, 1 strike to Blair. Clouds have come over again. If there is a 5th World Series game, the weatherman has promised us a 50% chance of rain tomorrow. Gullett ready for the 2-1 pitch. Fastball is fouled off to the right, and it's 2-2. Baltimore leading 4-3 in a thrill of the 4th game of the World Series. We are in the last of the 5th inning at Baltimore's Memorial Stadium. 1 out, Blair has the 2-2 count. Ground ball at left side. Perez off to his left from third base and has Blair by 5 or 6 steps for the second out of the Baltimore 5th. Well, that's for Boog Powell. Lee May did a nice job on him in the first inning, backhanding his shot grounder near first base and making the put out, and then Boog walked on 4 pitches in the third inning and scored on Brooks Robinson's single. That at the time was the go-ahead run. Big left-hander, hitting .333, 4 RBIs before today, and 4 runs scored in this series. Waits, fastball is a strike on the outside corner from Don Gullett. And Boog has hit 2 home runs. 1 to straightaway center, and 1 to the opposite field, that is to left field. Gullett ready. This one is too low. It's 1-1 to Powell. Powell, born in Key West, Florida, now lives in Miami, Florida, and played football with a quarterback by the name of George Meyer in high school. 1-1, Powell back to our left. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Well, again, we'd like to welcome those of you who are listening on American Forces Radio. Wherever you are, Vietnam, Korea, Japan, Europe, the Caribbean, and on the U.S. ships at sea, our friends of the American Forces Radio Service in Washington estimate our listening audience overseas of between 45 and 65 million people. High pitch from Gullet, and it's 2-2.
That's a lot of folks.
A lot of folks out there, Jim McIntyre, and we're glad that they're listening with us, and we are thinking of them. 2 balls, 2 strikes on a cloudy sky. In Baltimore, Boog Powell awaits the left-handed offering of Gullet, which is high again. It is 3-2. Well, 3-2, any pitcher will tell you, favors. It is not an even-Steven deal at all. It definitely favors the batter. The pitcher must come close enough to make it a strike or fool the batter, and if he's too far away, he has walked the man, but in this case, Gullet does what is right. He simply fires a fastball past Powell, who strikes out. The runs, hits, or errors, none left. At the end of 5 complete, Baltimore 4, Cincinnati 3.
Hi, this is Joe Garagiola. You know, I've been in the World Series, and it's a great experience. The only unfortunate thing about the World Series is that somebody has to lose. But with the new Dodge Challenger, everybody wins because there's a Challenger model to suit everyone's taste and budget. For 1971, Challenger is back with all the best features of last year, plus a lot more. Besides the wide stance, bucket seats, and wide range of engines, Challenger for 71 has a sparkling new grille and stylish taillight design. And you have a choice of 3 price ranges: the low-price coupe, the regular Challenger, and for those who like extras, for a little extra, the Challenger RT. But whatever your taste and budget, you've got a lot going for you in a Dodge Challenger. The new 71 Dodges are in the showroom now, so see and drive a Challenger soon at your Dodge boys. It's a driving experience you won't want to miss.
We pause now, 30 seconds for station identification.
AGW Portland. Playing ball with the Reds or the Orioles is one way to be on top. Opening an account at Equitable Savings is another. Equitable Savings features savings plans with top earnings, including the 5 1/4% 90-day passbook savings account, plus an extra bonus. 1 S&H green stamp for every dollar saved in any Equitable Savings account. Up to 1,000 stamps per deposit. Your money earns an extra bonus at Equitable Savings.
Along with Jim Simpson, I'm Jim McIntyre from Memorial Stadium in Baltimore, where the Orioles hold a 4-3 lead. 4 runs, 5 hits, and no errors. Baltimore, 3 runs, 5 hits, 1 error for the Reds. Ready for the Reds' 6th inning, and to tell you about it, Jim Simpson.
In the second inning, Lee May walked on a 3-2 curveball that was out of the strike zone and later scored ahead of the triple of Dave Concepcion. In the third inning, his infield hit drove in Bobby Tolan with another run. The lights have gone on at Memorial Stadium as we go to the top of the 6th inning, and May is the leadoff batter. Carbo and Helms to follow. Palmer ready. Fastball is too high to Lee May. May is the big man for the Cincinnati Reds, hitting .364 before today, and he's walked and scored a run and has driven in a run. There's another pitch out of the strike zone. It's wide. It's 2-0 to May from Palmer, a very fast worker. And think what Lee May would be hitting were it not for Brooks Robinson over at third base. Palmer right back with the fastball, a swinging strike. 2 balls, 1 strike to Lee May. His brother, I feel sure you know, is Carlos May, the young ball player and the good one with the Chicago White Sox. Palmer back with another fastball, 2 hops to Belanger, takes the short hop, and throws across and has May. Now, Lee May is not speedy, but is considered to have good speed for a big man and is a good base runner. Here is Bernie Carbo. Palmer got in on a swinging strike 3 on a changeup pitch in the second, and Bernie hit into a fourth strike in the third. Oh, he is 0 for 2. The young rookie, as Jim told you, hit .310 during the regular season. Left-handed batter facing the right-handed Palmer and fouls the first one off to the left, strike 1. Baltimore, it was interesting to note in the very first inning, was sacrificing, trying to get at least a run ahead of Cincinnati and take their kind of game away from them, make them play catch-up ball. Another foul to the left by Carbo. It didn't work out that way. Cincinnati got the first run. Brooks Robinson brought it back to an even tie with 1, and then, of course, they got 3 runs in the big third inning. After trailing 2-1 as the Reds got one in the third. It is now 4-3. Palmer ready again, 2 strikes, and he has Pablo swinging this time with a fastball, strike 3. 6th strikeout for Palmer, who in the league championship final game against Minnesota struck out 12. And in the first game of the World Series, struck out 2 and none until the top of the 9th inning. Here's Tommy Helms, who struck out on a low curve and line to right field, takes high and inside from Palmer. The ball 1. Palmer, as Jim told you, very fast worker, back with the fastball. It's low and in the third. And it's ball 2 to Tommy Helms with Dave Concepcion on deck. The youngster from Venezuela is having a good series, not used until yesterday. Had 2 RBIs yesterday, another today with a triple. Pitch to Helms is inside, and it is 3-0 until Ellie Hendricks walks out as the ball bounces in front of him, goes to the edge of the grass, and throws back to Palmer. Hendricks knows, and Palmer knows that Jim walked Lee May in the second and walked Bobby Tolan in the third, and both men scored. He does not want to put a man on base. He's out in front just by a run. Back and misses, and on 4 pitches has walked Tommy Helms. And here comes Dave Concepcion, who tripled in Lee May back in the second inning and grounded out in the 4th. Look at it this way. Before the walk to Helms, Palmer had walked 2, both had scored. Concepcion, right-handed batter. Paul Blair pulls over to right center field. Frank Robinson comes around toward right. His triple to right nevertheless went between the 2 back in the second inning. With Palmer's speed and Concepcion's type of hitting, they are not figuring on Dave at pulling the ball at all. Palmer ready. First pitch is a fastball at the letters. Strike 1. 4-3, Baltimore. We are in the top of the 6th. A win today in the 1970 World Series is all over. Palmer checks the runner, Helms at first base. Pitching out of the stretch, of course, Jim Palmer looks in and throws. Fastball is low and dug out of the dirt by Ellie Hendricks. Now Hendricks again goes out to check with Palmer with a count of 1 ball and 1 strike. The Cincinnati Reds have lost their last 6 series games in a row. They won the second game of the 1961 World Series against the New York Yankees, who tied at 1-1. Then they went on to lose the next 3. And now, 9 years later, they have lost the first 3 of the 1970 World Series. They're trying to end that scheme right now. On ball 1 strike, Hendricks back, crouching behind the plate, flashing the sign to Palmer. Pitch fastball lined foul and upstairs off to the right. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Bob Stewart, the American League umpire behind the plate, says. Palmer's defense, Powell at first, Davy Johnson at second, Belanger at short, Brooks Robinson at third, Don Buford in left, Paul Blair in center, Frank Robinson in right, Hendricks behind the plate, and Palmer preparing to pitch. Ahead of the hitter, 1 and 2, throws a curve, line drive to Belanger, who has it for the third out. No runs, no hits, no errors, 1 left. We go to the last of the 6th. Baltimore 4, Cincinnati 3.
Hey, man, you know the stuff on top of your head? I'm talking about your hair. You know, it looks real great, except when you put the wrong things on it. Like oil, like water, like grease. Yuck. There's gotta be a better way. And there is. The people at Gillette have a new thing called the Dry Look. The Dry Look. It comes in a can. Aerosol, that is. And it keeps hair neat, natural, and looking dry. Hey, and guess what else? On top of that can is a valve, like a very special valve. Lets you set just the right degree of dry control you want. Light, or medium, or heavy. But you know what? Your hair will still look full and clean and natural and dry. Only the Dry Look from Gillette gives you 3 degrees of dry control. Yeah, the wet head is dead. Long live the Dry Look. Long live the Dry Look. Long.
Well, the Baltimore Orioles
in the last half of the sixth inning with Frank Robinson to lead off. They had a big third inning, and Robinson had something to do with it. A single to left field that batted in the Orioles' second run, and that run actually tied the score at that time. It's 2-2, and then came Brooks Robinson and Ellie Hendricks to put the Orioles ahead. That time 4-2, and a home run by Pete Rose and cut it back to 4-3. And that's where we are going into the last half of the sixth inning, and here's Jim Simpson.
Don Gullett will face Frank Robinson, and you wonder whether or not this is the 19-year-old's last inning in that he is scheduled to lead off the seventh inning, and Sparky Anderson needs a run to tie at the moment. Robinson was called out on strikes on a fastball from Gary Nolan back in the first and singled in the tying run in the third. Ready to throw to Robinson. The ball is jammed, and he pulls it foul right past Billy Hunter, the coach at third base. That ball was right in on the fifth for Frank Robinson, who did not have a World Series hit before yesterday. And singled on the hit and run first time up, and second time up he hit a home run. He's 1 for 2 today. Gullett ready, back, take something off, line drive, left field. Pablo hardly has to move to haul in the line drive for the first out of the Baltimore sixth. And of course, Brooks Robinson is the man at the plate. Nancy with the glove, home run to tie the ball game in the second. A single to put him ahead in the third, and was later thrown out trying to score from second on a base hit by Hendricks. Gullett's fastball is high, ball one to Brooks Robinson. Pete Rose had a great remark, and we'll give it to you about Brooks Robinson and the fact that Brooks is the odds-on favorite to win that car from a magazine. He's the most outstanding player. Low with the pitch. Pete Rose of Cincinnati said, heck, I own an interest in a car dealership. Had I known he wanted a car that bad, I'd give him one. 2-0. The Brooks Robinson fastball fouled out of play, off to the right. 2 balls, 1 strike. Brooks, born in Little Rock, Arkansas, and for a number of years since joining the Orioles, has lived right here in Baltimore.
Given the way Brooks has robbed Johnny Bench, I'd say if Bench should give him the car because he is then on the ownership of that same agency.
Lee May ought to contribute a little bit. There's a ground ball. Guess what? Base hit. Let's see. Well, Brooks Robinson in this, what could be the final game of the 1970 World Series, if he hadn't won that car before. 3 for 3 today with 2 RBIs, should about steal it. But remember, Frank Robinson hits the ball very hard to left field right at Tony Carbo, and Brooks Robinson now has single to left field, and here's Ellie Hendricks. So they have hit Gullett hard in this inning. 4 runs, 6 hits now. No errors for Baltimore. 3 runs, 5 hits, 1 error for Cincinnati. The error for Cincinnati did not figure in any scoring. Gullett looking over at first, throws a breaking pitch. Looks like a slider to Ellie Hendricks, catches the outside corner, strike 1. Nobody moving in the Cincinnati bullpen as of this moment, but now somebody is beginning to stir. Gullett is ready, takes something off, ground ball to the right side, past everybody. Brooks Robinson all the way is on second, picked up by Pete Rose to throw to third base in plenty of time. The ball gets by everybody, goes in the dugout. Robinson will score. Hendricks goes to third. A single down to second on the throw, and on the throwing error, Robinson scores. Hendricks goes to third. It's 5 to 3. Baltimore. Signaling to Bob Stewart, the umpire, he wants to talk to his manager and may make a change. Johnny Bench is on the mound. Well, as I said, Frank Robinson's line drive was hard hit. Brooks Robinson and Ellie Hendricks both have come up with base hits, and an error has allowed Brooks Robinson to score. Woody Woodward has now gone in to shortstop, and Dave Concepcion is coming out. And with Hendricks at third base. Jim McIntyre, this is your ball across Cincinnati. Apparently they feel that they're to cut off this run, which becomes a very important run for Baltimore and Cincinnati. Woodward perhaps can do the better job at shortstop.
That coupled with the fact that the pitcher is due to lead off, Jim, and I'm sure Clay Carroll will be put in the 8th spot in the batting order where Concepcion was hitting, and Woodward will be in the 9th spot and will lead off next inning. It was not in time to get Brooks Robinson at third, but it was far off the mark, and neither Perez nor Gullett, who was over trying to back up, could stop the ball. It went right on into the dugout on a couple of bounces off the grass. And so the Orioles have another run. At the moment, it's unearned. Future events in the inning, they can make it earned. But right now, it's unearned, but it counts, and it's big out there. 5-3. We mentioned earlier that Clay Carroll is probably the most effective pitcher out of the Cincinnati bullpen in the series. In 2 appearances, Clay has pitched 4 2/3 innings, has allowed 2 hits, walked 2, struck out 5, and has not allowed a run. He was just great during the season, too. Had a 260 earned run average while winning 9 and losing 4 and collecting 16 saves. And it pitched better than 100 innings in 65 appearances during the regular season. So Baltimore has built it up to 5-3, and the 6th inning is still very much alive with Davy Johnson coming up to face Clay Carroll. And back again, here's Jim Simpson.
5-3, Johnson at bat, and Hendricks standing over at third base. And the infield comes in, hoping to choke off this run. Johnson trying to lift the ball to the outfield if he can, or of course get a base hit. Clay Carroll, a right-handed pitcher, facing the right-handed Davy Johnson in the 5-3 game. Throws it high inside. And it is ball 1 to Davy Johnson. On deck is Mark Belanger. Jim Palmer again has been staked to a 2-run lead. Carroll ready, throws a curveball that breaks over the plate, strike 1. Rose made only 1 error all season long. That was on a bad hop at Riverfront Stadium in the early going when they moved into that new stadium, and here he makes his 2nd error of the year in the 4th game of the 1970 World Series. 1-1 to Davy Johnson. Hits the ball foul, high, and out of play to the right. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Johnson is quite a ball player. Golden Glove winner at second base. You hear more about Brooks Robinson and fielding at third, of course, or Belanger. But he hits a steady 280 year in and year out. 1 ball, 2 strikes, and he swings and misses. And Carroll has at least done part of the job he sent him to do as he strikes out Davy Johnson, and Mark Belanger comes up. That's the 5th strikeout for the Cincinnati staff. 2 out now. Hendricks still at third base. Belanger has flied to short center field, and Helms backhanded his ground ball in the 4th inning and threw him out. Oh, still, Brooks Robinson's run that scored is unearned, barring what Mark Belanger does. Hold it, they have called time. Out on the field is Flaherty. He's been told that he's safe. The Reds are leaving the field, but that umpire was out there. And there goes an usher out towards the fence in deep left field to pick up what looks to be a loose ball or something, as Belanger had popped up to Perez at third. But I was looking at the umpire because John Red Flaherty, the American League, had called time. So Belanger gets another shot at it, and Jim McIntyre, things always seem to happen like this in a World Series.
Yes, just a little while ago earlier in the game with Belanger at the plate, a pigeon lighted out on the grass near second base. The play went ahead, and Belanger went ahead to fly out to short center field while a pigeon was sitting down out in the infield grass.
Oh, there's no count on Belanger. And Carroll ready to throw again. This one is in under the hands, and he does not swing. It's ball 1 inside. Belanger, tall, very thin, right-handed batter. Facing Clay Carroll. The 1-0 pitch. Back. Fastball catches the outside corner. It's 1-1. Hendricks at third. 2 are out. We're on the last of the 6th. Baltimore leads it 5-3, having scored once in this inning. Lights have been on for some time, although their patches are blue in the sky. Back with the fastball. Belanger cuts on it. Misses. And it's 1 ball, 2 strikes. May, the first baseman, Helms at second. Woody Woodward now at short. Perez at third. Carbo on left. Holden in center. Rose in right. Way outside, and the catcher, Johnny Bench, blocks it. Backhanded. Going over into the left-handed batter's box to get it. And it's 2-2. Pitchers will tell you, we started this conversation last night. This is as far as any pitcher wants to go, 2-2. He doesn't want 3-2. Ground ball foul, one-handed and dropped by Billy Hunter, who goes to third base and gets the boot. 5 runs, 7 hits, no errors for Baltimore. 3 runs, 5 hits, and 2 errors now for Cincinnati. Tolan has made 1 in center. Rose has made 1 in right. We're in the last of the 6th. Gale ready with a 2-2 count. Ball is hit high into short left field. Carbo waits there, sits about a step, now a couple more to his left, and has it for the third out. So that run is unearned. 1 run on 2 hits, 1 costly error, and 1 man left. At the end of 6, Baltimore 5, Cincinnati 3.
Along with Jim Simpson, I'm Jim McIntyre at Baltimore's Memorial Stadium, where the Orioles are leading in the 4th game of the 1970 World Series by a score of 5-3. 5 runs, 7 hits, and no errors for the Orioles. 3 runs, 5 hits, and 2 errors for the Cincinnati Reds. Jim Palmer and Elrod Hendricks, the battery for the Orioles. They've gone all the way. Palmer's been in trouble a couple of times, but the Reds can't get him out of there. The Reds have used Gary Nolan, Don Gullett, and now Clay Carroll. We've got 2/3 of the 6th inning under his belt. We're due to have I think Woody Woodward leading off. Although it was not announced, but Angel Bravo is getting him back and is coming up to hit. So we may have been wrong, Jim, about the batting order of Woodward and Carroll. They may have put Carroll in the 9th spot. We'll have to wait and see. At any rate, Angel Bravo is going to be the leadoff batter for the Reds in the 7th. And to tell you about it, Jim Simpson.
Bravo's been to that once in the World Series and was out and hit the first pitch and pops to the right side of the infield. Davy Johnson is back and Bravo is out in a very quick appearance. Bobby Tolan will be the batter with 1 out in the 7th inning. 5-3 the score. Baltimore leads as they win. That's it. Tolan single in the first pitch. Bounced a single to right field in the first inning. Walked on 4 pitches and scored, driven in by Lee May in the 3rd and popped out on the first pitch in the 5th and takes this first pitch for a strike. Strike 1 to Tolan. Jim Palmer all the way. Winner of the first game throws another strike right at the knee. Winner of the first game by a score of 4-3 with relief help to 1 batter by Pete Rickard, now trying to go all the way to seal up the series and win his 2nd series victory of 1970. Fouled off toward the Baltimore dugout and into it. And Karam's around there. 2 strikes to Tolan. 1 out in the 7th. Palmer ready. Throws. It's just off the corner. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Well, if it should end today, you'll talk a lot about Brooks Robinson and who hasn't. But don't forget Dave McNally, who pitched yesterday and hit a grand slam. And if Palmer wins, don't forget him. 2 of the series victories. Fouled off to the left. There have been so many heroics. Mickey Mantle was on with Jim McIntyre earlier in the ball game, and Mickey's assumption was, or observation was, I'll give it to you in a minute. Palmer ready to throw in 1 ball, 2 strikes. It bounces in front of the plate. It's 2-2. That the Baltimore Orioles are the best-looking team in a World Series he has ever seen. Now, considering the salad days of the New York Yankees, of the 50s and early 60s, that's something to say. Tolan strikes out. Swinging. 7th strikeout for Jim Palmer, 2nd out of the Cincinnati 7th. And here is Pete Rose. Reached on a 4th play in the 1st, single in the 3rd, and hit a home run in the 5th. And what a battle it was. Palmer's first 2 pitches got right over, both called strikes. Then by fouling them off and having Palmer waste pitches outside, inside, he worked at the 3-2 and then hit a home run to the left field. This time he fouls off the first pitch. In the playoffs of the American League Championship, speaking of Brooks Robinson, he was 7 for 12. In the World Series, he is 7 for 15. Big slow curve from right over the right field. So in the American League Championship, in the World Series thus far, Brooks Robinson is hitting .519. 2 strikes to Rose, but Pete has been here before, accidentally fouls this one off to the left. Palmer will be 25 years old a little bit later on this week, October the 15th. High, and it's 1 and 2 to Rose, and I'm checking my calendar. What date is that? Tomorrow. That's right, a little bit later on this week. That's true? During the World Series, Jim. Don't ask me what's the date, what's the game. Big curve again, misses, and it's 2-2. 5-3, Baltimore. They're in the top of the 7th. Third time in the last 5 years the Orioles have been playing a World Series here. This is the fastball inside, and as Rose did back in the 5th inning before hitting the home run, he was 0-2, and then it became 3-2. He was 0-2 here in the 7th. It is now 3-2. What Palmer gives him here, fastball, it is grounded foul, although it is a fair territory. Rose is saying it is foul. Now he's saying it's hit my foot, and so Bob Stood's going to go out, and we're going to have the shoe polish bit again. As he's going to look at the ball, he's looking at it right now. Rose is saying it did hit my foot. Stewart is shaking his head. No, it did not. I'm sorry. Bucky Anderson is out. Now he is asking that they appeal to the first and third base umpires and ask them whether or not it hit. And so walking in from third base is Ken Burkhardt, who was in the middle of a rhubarb back in the first game. Stewart walks out to talk with him. Everybody's left the field. Rose is standing there. And Burkhardt apparently is going to say no. What will happen? We'll let you know in a moment. All intents and purposes, we go to the last of the 7th. 5-3, Baltimore over Cincinnati.
As one of America's major trade unions, the Retail Clerks International Association brings the benefits of democracy to the place of employment of more than 600,000 poor workers with good wages and good working conditions. The Retail Clerks Unions, believing in the democratic processes of government, urge all Americans to vote on November 3rd. This message from the Retail Store Employees Union in your community, chartered by the Retail Clerks International Association, Washington, D.C. 20006.
Hey, Bud, if you want to get in on a terrific deal, listen to this. You know the Gillette Techmatic razor? The razor that gets the nubs? Well, here's the deal. Right now, when you buy the Gillette Techmatic razor, America's top-selling razor, you get a can of Gillette Foamy Shave Cream with lemon lime free. You get that? Foamy with lemon lime free. So what are you waiting for? Get the Gillette Techmatic razor now. A deal like this don't last forever.
Pete Rose claimed that he bounced one off his foot and it rolled up to the first baseman Powell, who picked up the ball and stepped on the bag easily. Pete did not run. He stayed at the plate, and Pete's plate umpire, Bob Stewart. Stewart examined the ball, and not enough shoe polish on it for him to call it. They appealed to third base umpire Ken Burkhardt. He agreed, and so Rose was out. He flung his bat and helmet back to the dugout. For not ejected, he's out to right field. We have a new shortstop for the Reds as we come to the last of the 7th. Darrell Cheney, Smith Bravo's dead bat for Woody Woodward. And we're ready for the bottom of the 7th inning. And here again, Jim Simpson.
Ray Carroll's first pitch, the fastball too high to Jim Palmer. And it's ball 1. Palmer singled and scored a run in the 3rd, struck out swinging in the 4th. Someone has gotten, well, it's one of the Baltimore field men onto the field to pick up a ball or something. The folks in right field gave Pete Rose, you know what, when he went out there after that big argument that he had, but they call Pete Charlie Hustle. He's a man that's in every ball game. Even though they're down 3 games to none and trailing 5-3 in this, the 4th of the World Series, Rose figured he should not have been charged with a ground out to first baseman Boog Powell, that it hit his foot. Everything's all right now, and there's a swing and a miss, like 1 to Palmer. So the count now, according to the scoreboard, is 1 strike. That first high pitch did not count. A Baltimore man was on the field. Popped high in the air into the infield. Lemay is in, so now it's Tommy Helms. They'll let Helms catch it right at the edge of the grass, and he has it for the first out of the Baltimore 7th. That'll bring up John Buford, who's walked, grounded, May at first, and to Helms at second. Buford is switch hitter. We're moving along now as the Orioles are just 6 outs away from the 1970 World Series. They've got the heart of the batting order coming up in the 8th, Perez, Bench, and May. But here's Buford with 1 out in the 7th. Takes a fastball just at the knees on the inside corner, strike 1. Temperature at game time was 72 degrees. The sun has been in and out. It is a rather overcast day, not dark. The lights are on. Breaking pitch. Buford drags the bunt. Carroll comes over and watches it roll foul. Carroll picks it up in foul territory. And Johnny Bench was right alongside of him. If Carroll had not, Bench would have. And Buford, with his speed, had carried him clear down the right field line, nearly to the stand. And now must walk back. Just now has he gotten even with first base. That's the kind of speed that Buford had trying to get across first base. So we will wait with you as Buford marches back. Paul Blair is on deck, swinging a bat. The Orioles have won their last 10 games here at home, 16 of the last 17, and their last 17 games overall in a row. And if they make it 18, they add the 1970 World Series to their credit. 2 strikes now to Buford. Carroll ready, throws fastball is too high. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Buford. Carroll, the fast worker, comes back with a breaking pitch. It is a strike. Bench, as he dropped the ball, flips down to Lemay at first, and Buford is the second out. Second strikeout for Carroll, and here's Paul Blair. Sacrifice bunt in the first, struck out on the changeup in the third, off Gary Nolan, and then grounded to Perez at third in the 5th.
Number 6, Paul Blair.
Cincinnati infield now is May first, Helm second, Darrell Cheney will number short, Tony Perez third. The left, Colin center, Rose right. Carroll's ready, throws a strike with a fastball at the knee. Clay Carroll has been most effective, working 4 2/3 innings before today, giving up no runs, walked 2, 3 hits. The strike 1 pitch is a big curve, and it's in there. Strike 2 to Paul Blair. The attendance hasn't been announced. Nearly 52,000 yesterday. Fastball fouled to the screen by Blair, and it's 2 strikes. In the Baltimore bullpen, they're having number 40 warm up. That's Dave Leonard, and number 39, Eddie Watt. Both are right-handed. 1 ball, 2 strikes now to Paul Blair. In Baltimore, when Watt and Rickard are up, they call them 0-1-2. One's a right-hander, one's a left-hander, and usually they go to one or the other in the late innings. Fastball is outside from Carroll, and it's 2-2 to Blair. Might be considered a little too early to reach for Pete Rickard. It was a late inning, blazing fastball, left-handed specialist. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Curveball, Bench starts for the dugout, and as he does, Bob Stewart then says that's strike 3 called. No runs, hits or errors at the end of 7th. Baltimore 5, Cincinnati 3.
This is KGW Portland. Why not enjoy next year's World Series in person? You can if you start an Equitable savings account now. You'll find the right savings plan with high earnings to meet your needs, including the 5 1/4% 90-day passbook savings account, plus an extra bonus, S&H green stamps. 1 stamp for every dollar saved in any Equitable savings account. Up to 1,000 stamps per deposit. Earn an extra bonus on your money today at Equitable Savings.
Jim Simpson with Jim McIntyre as we go to the 8th inning in Baltimore, 5-3 Baltimore. And Earl Weaver, the manager of the Orioles, listen to this, has 2 right-handers warming up in Leonard and Watt. And Pete Rickard, the left-hander, has also joined them. There are 3 pitchers warming up. Weaver knows that if he can get by this 8th inning with Perez, Bench, and May due to bat, he'll be a long way toward this World Series championship. First pitch from Jim Palmer to Tony Perez is low ball 1. Palmer right back. Fastball, and he has been getting Perez. He struck him out twice on fastballs. Last time up, Perez flies deep to center.
And you have to wonder if or when Tony Perez is going to snap out of it.
They've been getting, as I said, with the fastballs. There's another fastball, and it's fouled back. About midseason, Jim Palmer just junked that slider. He's only thrown it a couple of times since. He is strictly fastball with the big curve. Not the little nickel curve, but the sliders they call it. Fastball is too high. And the fans behind the plate get on Bob Stewart, figuring that that was in the strike zone after Bench had started for the dugout with a called strike three before Stewart called it to end the top half of the inning. Another pitch is high, and it is 3-2 to Perez. Remember, he watched Dave Leonard, right-hander, Steve Rickard, left-hander, out in the Baltimore bullpen. 5-3 Baltimore, 8th inning. The power of Cincinnati up trying to catch up. He swings, the ball is foul-tipped and dropped by catcher Ellie Hendricks. So Palmer's again faced with a 3-2 count to Tony Perez with Johnny Bench kneeling on deck. Palmer looking into catcher Hendricks is ready and throws. Fastball fouls back to the screen again. Still 3-2. Perez steps out and gets some dirt on his hands. They are pulled around to the left. Ball is fouled off and out of play to the right. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Now they have Eddie Watt, Pete Rickard, and Mo Grabowski, according to the scoreboard, warming up. Which would mean that Dave Leonard has sat down. Rickard ready, 3-2, in on him, ball 4. Perez draws the walk, and the tying run, and the person of Johnny Bench is coming to bat. Perez is the 4th man that has walked as Earl Weaver sends out George Bamberger, his pitching coach, to talk to Jim Palmer. Now, I would imagine as he comes out here with Johnny Bench coming up, Bench 0 for 3 today, Bamberger is seeking for Earl Weaver an honest answer from Jim Palmer. That is, are you tired? Are you sure you can stay in? Do you need some help? We have 3 men out in that bullpen warming up, and Grabowski, Watt, and Rickard. So Bamberger claps his hands, marches back off. Jim Palmer stays in, trying to complete this game. He walked Lee May in the 2nd, and May scores. He walked Bobby Tolan to start the 3rd, and Tolan scores. And with a score of 5-3 here in the top of the 8th, Johnny Bench, who led the majors in home runs and RBIs, is the batter. A home run here, and we got a tie ball game. First pitch is outside. Ball 1. Hendricks begs a bit, mad, fires the ball back. He figures that Bob Stewart should have called it a strike. Luke Powell holding on. Perez at first base. Palmer stares over at him, now throws. Fastball, line down the left field line. It is a fair ball. Around second base goes Perez. Picked up by Buford. It's a long single as over to third base is Perez. Now the tying runs are on base, and here is Lee May, the top hitter of the Cincinnati club, and now Earl Weaver is coming out. And that is going to be all for Jim Palmer, I am sure. Bamberger came out the first time. This time Weaver is coming out to do the honors himself. That is just the 6th hit off Jim Palmer, who would like to stay around, but he's not going to. As the screen door out in left field has been opened up, and the pitcher is coming in as Palmer departs.
Applause for Jim Palmer as he leaves the mound. He's pitched 7 terrific innings, allowed only 6 hits, 1 home run and 1 triple. He has struck out 7 and walked 4, and a little bit of wildness is his undoing at the moment. We got a pitcher coming off the bullpen, looks like Eddie Watt, but I can't be sure. I will be as soon as he gets in vision here. That's who it is. Right-hander Eddie Watt. Watt is making his first appearance in the 1970 World Series. He's a right-hander who, as Jim told you, can fire that fastball. He was in 53 games during the season for the Orioles. He won 7, lost 7, and had 12 saves. He only pitched 55 innings, so you can see from that in 53 games he had to pitch an inning or so at a time, and that was about it. He allowed 44 hits and 20 runs, which is a .327 earned run average. He wasn't an overpowering pitcher. He only had 33 strikeouts and had 29 walks. So Eddie Watt makes his first appearance in the 1970 World Series, pitching against Lee May, and then would come Bernie Carbo. And with Watt only having 55 and a third innings during the season and 53 appearances, you have to wonder here if Pete Rickard might not be called on to pitch to Carbo. We'll have to wait and see, of course, but I imagine Earl Weaver is thinking about that. The score is 5-3, Baltimore. 8th inning. Reds with runners at first and third, nobody out. And Lee May tossing aside the weighted bat and strolling up toward home plate. And strolling back to the NBC microphone, Jim Simpson.
All right, Jim. Lee May, during the regular season, hit 34 home runs. Back in 1969, he hit 38 home runs. A home run here would catapult the Reds into a come-from-behind position and a 6-5 lead. Earl Weaver knew this would be a tough 8th inning, and thus far it is. With Tony Perez at third, Johnny Bench at first, none out. Baltimore leading 5-3 in the 4th game of the World Series. And Eddie Watt is ready and throws. Long drive, left field, back, it's gone. Cincinnati leads. One pitch, and the 2-run lead of Baltimore is wiped out. It is 6-5 Cincinnati. The Reds fight back. Bernie Carbo steps up. Lee May has been the monster for the Reds. The big cog in their red machine that they've been trying to get operating. 364 and a home run and 4 RBIs in the series before today. He's added 3 RBIs. He has 7 now on the series of Carbo 6, strike 1. Makes that 4 RBIs today as Carbo swings and misses, which gives him a total of 8 for the series. And considering that the series is not yet 4 games old, that's quite a ratio. 2-strike pitch now to Carbo, nobody out, nobody on, and Carbo strikes out.
Sometimes you wonder about that lefty-righty business, don't you, Jim? The right-handed batter hits the home run, the left-handed batter strikes out.
Here's Tommy Helms, who has struck out on the slow curve, line to right, and walked on 4 pitches last time up in the 6th inning. Cincinnati's got the lead now. Watt working on the mound in relief of Jim Palmer. And throws outside to Helms. Well, Cincinnati started off the 8th inning with Perez, Bench, and May due up. In the Baltimore 8th, it'll be Powell and the 2 Robinsons due up. Now the pitch, foul out of play, off to the right. Powell gives it a little bit of a chase and then sees it fly, 15, 20 rows back. Well, I tell you, it was a home run well hit. As it cleared Brooks Robinson's head by about 100 feet, you knew it was gone. Back with the breaking ball. There's Robinson, lets it get by under his glove. Belanger has no throw. Robinson breaking to his left. It is a base hit, but it did touch Brooks Robinson's glove, but he was running to his left toward the hole. Belanger backing him up, kept the ball in the infield. Helms reaches for the base hit. Now Clay Carroll is going to be allowed to bat for himself, in that he has been the most effective of all Cincinnati pitchers as a relief man, and he's now got a run lead to protect. Squaring around the bunt, and now swings, and the ball is foul as Brooks Robinson was about 20 feet away. And Brooks very quickly runs back to third base.
That ball is fair. It's an easy hit.
1 strike to Carroll, who looks down to Art Ramis, the coach of third base. And the top of the 8th inning now, Cincinnati leading 6-5. They have led before in this game, 2-1, back in the top of the 3rd. Watt looking, Carroll squares around the bunt. That's the foul tip. hit the bat and also the hand of Ellie Hendricks, I believe. It's 2 strikes. Carroll this time walked 4 or 5 steps down towards Ramos to find out what it is he wants him to do. Watt walking around with a new baseball on the mound. Perez walked, bench single, Mays, home run off Eddie Watt. And the go-ahead run, of course, is charged to Watt. 6-5. Carroll is going to bunt again and bunt foul, and that is a strikeout and the second out. Second strikeout for Watt. Darrell Cheney, who went in as a defensive replacement the top half of this inning. A switch hitter is up to the bat. Cheney hit 277 during the regular season, only 232 during the regular season, but only appeared in 57 games, had a home run, batting left-handed against the right-handed Eddie Watt. With Helms on at first and 2 out. Pitch, ground ball foul toward the Cincinnati dugout and drops in the dugout. Strike 1. Sun has come out again, despite the fact the Baltimore Orioles, of course, leave the stadium lights on. The sun is now shining brilliantly here in Baltimore. And for the moment, it is shining on Cincinnati. Down 3 games to none. And down by a score of 5-3, they have battle waxed with 3 runs here in the 8th. Watt ready, and there's a fastball right at the letters. It's strike 2. May unloaded on the first pitch from Watt to put the Reds back in the series. Watt, bowing his head on the mound, concentrating on what it is he must do, now stares into Hendricks' catcher. Ready for the 2-strike pitch. Ball is foul off to the left. It'll be out of play along the third base line. Still 2 strikes to Darrell Cheney. Cheney has been in 2 games before as a defensive replacement. This is the first time he's been at bat in the series. The crowd here in Baltimore a little quiet. Perhaps anticipating a quick 4-game sweep, they might yet do it, but at the moment they trail in the 8th and they've grown quiet. Watt takes his time on the mound and is now ready. So, a big curve that misses outside. It's 1 ball, 2 strikes. Waiting on deck is Bobby Tolan. And Cheney is the 7th man to bat in this inning. Struck him out. Fastball, swing and a miss. But 3-run score on 3 base hits. No errors and 1 left. We go to the last of the 8th inning. It is Cincinnati leading Baltimore 6-5.
Basically, there are 2 ways to build a car. The old way is to assemble the body and frame separately and bolt them together. The frame, then, of course, which is underneath you, is by far the stronger of the 2 units. So the strength is underneath you. Well, we don't like to do it that way.
Unibody construction. That's the newer way, the best way. That's extra care in engineering. Body and frame are combined into 1 unit. With Unibody, the strength surrounds you because it's all around you.
Chrysler Corporation cars are strong, safe, quiet, long-lasting.
Chrysler Corporation cares. Unibody construction. Extra care and engineering. Extra value. Extra worth. Extra reasons for seeing the 1971 cars from Chrysler Corporation at your Dodge or Chrysler Plymouth dealer.
Chrysler Corporation cars. Chrysler Corporation cares.
Jim McIntyre here at Memorial Stadium in Baltimore with Jim Simpson. For the Reds, lead now, 6 runs and 8 hits, to 5 runs and 7 hits for the Orioles. Howell, Frank Robinson, and Brooks Robinson against Clay Carroll in the 8th inning. And here's Jim Simpson to tell you about it.
Luke Howell was accounted for by Lee May back in the first inning, walked on 4 pitches and scored in the 3rd, and struck out Sweeney on the 3-2 pitch and takes inside, backing him out of the box. Ball 1 here in the 8th. With those 3 runs in the top of the 8th inning, from Cincinnati's 3rd, 4th, and 5th batters in their lineup, Baltimore's trying to come back. Now fouls this one out of play to the left. 1 ball, 1 strike. Frank Robinson kneels on deck. McIntyre said, as we came to the booth, we had heard nothing about who would pitch tomorrow. Our guesses would be Cuellar for Baltimore and McLaughlin for Cincinnati, if tomorrow becomes necessary. Now ready 1-1, way inside for the fastball, backing Powell out again. And the book, of course, on Booth Powell, as Sparky Anderson made known, is pitching inside and tight. The mistakes they made on him for his first 2 home runs were balls that were out across the plate. And Booth has great power to all fields. 2 balls, 1 strike. This one is outside. He grounds it, backhanded by Perez at third. The long throw, tagged by May. Long throw, May had to come up the line to get it, and he tagged Booth Powell. And May is down, and all of the Cincinnati Reds are around him, but he waves them away, saying, "I'm all right." Well, we've talked about Baltimore's Brooks Robinson at third base. Tony Perez saved a base hit with that backhanded play at third base. And May alertly coming up the line to take his early throw, tagged out Booth Powell. Frank Robinson, 1 for 3 on the day. He has scored a run, driven in a run. Hits the curveball, right to the shortstop Cheney. He's got to throw to first and has Robinson by plenty. There are 2 out of the 8th with Brooks Robinson coming up. Al Robinson hitting .519 in the playoffs and series. He has had 14 hits in his last 27 at bats. He is 3 for 3 in this game with a home run, a couple of singles, 2 RBIs, and he scored twice. Carroll is ready and throws. It's a fastball that catches the outside corner. Strike 1 to Brooks Robinson. 6-5 to score. Cincinnati, 4th game of the World Series. Baltimore leads 3 games to none. Carroll back with a breaking ball that Robinson is out in front of and grounds foul to Billy Hunter, the coach at third base. Who throws the ball back, and Bench actually saved Brooks Robinson from being hit in the back as he reached the glove around and back up. Brooks wasn't looking and grabbed that throw from Billy Hunter. 2 strikes to Robinson. Ray Carroll protecting the 1-run lead. Pitch is outside, ball 1. If Baltimore does not score here, they will go to the 9th inning with Hendricks, Johnson, and Belanger. Down by 1 run. They won 40 one-run games during the regular season, 2 in the World Series. Curve is outside of low, and in the dirt it is now 2-2 to Brooks, who was 0-2, and he's worked it to 2-2. This becomes the big pitch for Carroll. He doesn't want to get it to 3-2. Wants to get Brooks Robinson right here on this 2-2 pitch. Throws way outside, and he has gone to 3-2 and pounds his glove. Johnny Bench comes out, motions with that ball at him. And, of course, he does not want to walk Brooks Robinson with home run hitter L.A. Hendricks coming up, a left-handed batter, who would be the winning run. Line drive right up the middle, and Brooks Robinson is 4 for 4. Carroll didn't want to get it to 3-2. He had to make the pitch good or else walk him, and Robinson picked on it and lined his 4th base hit of the day. Carroll is on the mound. There's activity very quickly now in the Cincinnati bullpen. The left-hander Hendricks, who doubled in the winning run in the second game and hit a home run in the first game. Left-handed batter is up swinging on deck as Wayne Granger quickly gets up and starts to throw in the Cincinnati bullpen. 6-5 to score. Cincinnati leads Baltimore. The tying run is at first base with 2 out of the last of the 8th inning, and Hendricks, the go-ahead run, at the plate. Carroll stares over, throws. It is outside. Something off that pitch. Ball 1 to Hendricks. On deck now is Dave Johnson. Carroll taking his time. He's not allowed a run yet. This is his 3rd appearance in the World Series. Has 2 outs, throwing to Hendricks. This one is right down the middle. Hendricks almost leaned into it. It's strike 1. 1-1. Carroll taking big, heavy breaths on the mound, staring over at Robinson at first base. Hendricks never leaves that batting box. Carroll ready. Throws. Big curveball, grounded to the right side. May comes in, now backs on it, has it, stepped on the bag, and they've gone down. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 man left at the end of 8. Cincinnati 6, Baltimore 5.
Walter Johnson had a pitch they used to call the radio ball. They said you could hear it, but you couldn't see it. Well, if most men's hairdressing were that way, it wouldn't be so bad, but they're not. I mean, not only can you see the grease they leave on your hair, you can feel it. That's why you'll like Vitalis. It holds your hair in place without any grease. So if you want to look good naturally, don't kid yourself, use Vitalis. That's Vitalis. It's greasy.
This is Kurt Gowdy. Ever notice how often the umpires examine the ball in play to make sure it's clean? Well, when it comes to cars, you ought to be just like an umpire, always looking for a way to keep your engine running clean. I can't think of a better way to do that than with Phillips 66 Top Arctic Motor Oil with its patented detergent additive. It's yours at the performance stop, the Phillips 66 station nearest you. Stop in. And remember, at Phillips 66, it's performance that counts.
Ready for the ninth inning here at Memorial Stadium. Jim Simpson, along with yours truly, Jim McIntyre. The Reds will send up the top of the batting order Bobby Tolan. Eddie Watt remains on the mound for Earl Weaver's Orioles. It's 6-5. The Reds, of course, would like to add their one-run lead. The Orioles want to hold them and stay within one-run striking distance. Ninth inning, and here's Jim.
Bobby Tolan singled in the first, walked and scored in the third, popped out in the fifth, and struck out Sweeney in the seventh. So he is 1 for 3 on the day. Watt ready, throws inside to him. Kind of his ball one, as Jim McIntyre so accurately pointed out. Don't count on Baltimore coming up in the last of the ninth, trailing only by a run. Tolan, Rose, and Perez. That is quite a lineup that Watt must face. Ready with a 1-ball count. This one he moves away from him. It's ball 2. So he jammed him on the first pitch and missed for ball 1. And went outside and away from him for ball 2. Moving the ball around on Tolan, but missing the plate on each occasion. Watt back again. This one is down the middle, but low. Down it is 3-0. I would imagine, as there's activity in the Baltimore bullpen, Hendricks just stared in toward the Baltimore dugout to see what Earl Weaver is going to do, and Hendricks now is tapping dirt very carefully around the plate. Watt ready on 3-0, taking all the way is Tolan. It's strike 1. 3 balls, 1 strike. 6-5, ninth inning. It is Cincinnati that leads. Outside, and Tolan has drawn the walk, and as you know, led the major league in stolen bases. And Pete Rose, who can handle the bat, comes up.
Jim, it looks like Mo Grabowski warming up in the bullpen, although we can't be sure. As Earl Weaver bounces out of the dugout, and he says he wants the pitcher from the bullpen. So we'll find out who it is as soon as he comes on here. The base on ball to Bobby Tolan to lead off the ninth inning has decided the issue insofar as Eddie Watt is concerned, and he's going to be lifted. After giving up 1 walk and striking out the side after allowing a home run by Lee May last inning, and a base hit off Robinson's glove by Tommy Helm. Eddie Watt is leaving, and we get a new pitcher ushered in from the Baltimore bullpen down the left field line. He'll be chauffeured in that golf cart. And Pete Rose, who can switch around and bat from either side, will be the batter. And as soon as we know who the pitcher is, we'll tell you. As we said at the beginning of the broadcast, all of the cliches you hear in World Series play when a team is trailing by 3 games certainly apply to the Reds here. And their backs to the wall. They've got to win today, or there is no tomorrow. That's what they hope to do.
Number 25.
Mo Grabowski is the pitcher coming in from the bullpen. This will be his second appearance. Let's take a closer look at Mo. But first, let's pause 30 seconds for station identification.
This is KGW Portland. Getting ahead in baseball, or anything else, requires planning. Equitable Savings helps Oregonians plan for the future with top earnings on a variety of savings plans. One is the 5 1/4% 90-day passbook savings account, plus an extra bonus, S&H Green Stamp. 1 stamp for every dollar saved in any Equitable Savings account. Get your extra bonus when you save at Equitable Savings.
Along with Jim Simpson, this is Jim McIntyre at Baltimore's Memorial Stadium, where Mo Grabowski is warming up on the mound. He pitched Sunday in the second game. 2 1/3 innings, allowed 2 hits and 1 run. The 1 run off him was a homer by Johnny Bench. right-hander, has a 386 earned run average in the World Series play. And on the season this year, Mo, with Baltimore, was in, had a 4-2 record in 21 games. His total for the season, 5 wins, 4 losses, and 45 games, and only 69 and 2/3 innings of pitching. He'll face Pete Rose with Bobby Tolan at first in the ninth. Nobody out, and here again, Jimson.
Tolan with 57 stolen bases during the regular season. Leads off, and very quickly Grabowski checks over there just to see what he's doing, and Tolan scoots right back. He has tried to steal a base in the World Series and was successful in his only attempt. Not going this time. Ball is hit to straightaway center field. Blair goes back and to his right and has the drive off the Pete Rose. 1 down in the ninth. Tolan returns to first base. That'll bring up Tony Perez. You'll recall when the eighth inning started by walking. Johnny Bench followed with a single, and Lee May hit the first pitch from Eddie Watt for a 3-run homer to put Cincinnati in front 6-5 where they are right now. Grabowski rubbing up the ball on the mound with 1 out, and Tolan taking a step or 2 away from first base. Grabowski stares over at him. Now looks in. Tolan is on his way. Hendricks has a high throw, throws down, and he's got him at second base. Johnson taking the tag. That was a high pitch from Grabowski, and Hendricks came up to the ball and was already nearly set to make the throw. His throw to Johnson was a little high. Johnson was able to put it down on Bobby Tolan, and he was out. So, Perez is up there now with a count of 1-0 on him. And 2 out, and nobody on in the top of the ninth inning. Grabowski now working to Perez. Comes in with a fastball, high to center field. Ball Blair goes over to right center field, and rather deep, and has it for the third out. So, we go now to the last of the ninth. Cincinnati leading in the 4th game of the World Series, 6-5.
Here in Baltimore, the Orioles come up in the last half of the ninth inning, trailing by 1 run. Clay Carroll will be facing the bottom of the order. Johnson, light batting Lorenzo, and the pitcher. And I have to think that Earl Weaver will go to the bench. He's only used 1 pinch hitter so far, Chico Simone. He came through with a base hit. Johnson will lead off. Time to tell you about the ninth inning. Last at is Jim Simpson.
Johnson 0 for 3, takes high ball 1 from Clay Carroll. We just checked. In the 3rd game, this is, that Carroll has worked in. He's now pitched 7 in the 3rd inning. Has given up 4 hits, no runs, struck out 8. Johnson hits the ball high down the left field line. Over comes Cheney, the shortstop, in foul territory, chasing it and has it near the grandstand. And that's 1 out. And here comes Terry Crowley, a rookie this year who hit 260 with 5 home runs and 20 RBIs. He is batting for Mark Belanger, the shortstop. Crowley, left-handed batter, and obviously they will bat also for their pitcher, Grabowski, although no one. Yes, there's someone now out on deck, and it is Merv Retman, who hit over 300 during the regular season, also left-handed batter. Ball is inside of Crowley. Rather, Retman, a right-handed batter, beg your pardon. 1 ball to Crowley, the left-handed batter. 1 out in the ninth, 6-5. Fastball is foul out of play. 1 ball, 1 strike to Crowley. Cincinnati got its 3 runs, including tying and go-ahead runs in the 8th on a 3-run homer by Lee May after being down 5-3 going to the 8th. Carroll throws a big curve, and Crowley went around on it. Strike 2. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 1 out, last of the ninth. At this moment, it looks as though there will be a 5th game of the 1970 World Series. Tomorrow, right here in Baltimore. Carroll ready. 1 ball, 2 strike. Another curveball to the right side. Mays right there by first base and carefully steps on first base, and they're 2 out. And that brings up Retman. Merv Retman gets 332, has power, 18 home runs. And Cincinnati is an out away from winning its first World Series game of 1970 and breaking a 6-game World Series losing streak extending back to 1961 and breaking a 17-game winning streak of the Baltimore Orioles. It is 6-5. Waiting for someone who has just come out in right field, one of the special policemen, to get out of the playing area. Several policemen are now going down the sidelines, the foul lines, just in case this game ends suddenly. Breaking pitches too low to Redmond. Ball one. And they will march out to keep spectators off the field. 6-5. 2 outs, 9th inning. Cincinnati leads. Carroll back. Fastball at the knees. Strike. 1 ball, 1 strike to Merv Redmond. Redmond, 27 years old, born in Flint, Michigan. Right now, the hopes of the Orioles rest with him. Did not offer the curveball. It stays outside. And it's 2 balls, 1 strike. Carroll has just been fantastic. He has now worked 8 complete innings with no runs scored on him in the World Series. Ball is fouled off to the right. It's 2-2. To Redmond. They play Merv straight away in center field. And in right and left. And Tony Perez is all knowledgeable third baseman doing guarding against that extra base hit. Very close to the line of third. 2-2 pitch is fouled back to the screen again. Perez will give up the single in the big hole between third and short, but he will not give up that extra base hit that would put Redmond in scoring position. Still 2-2. Clay Carroll trying to save this. Big curveball, and he just stuck his bat there, didn't mean to, and it went back to the screen and stuck in the screen. Two balls, 2 strikes. Redmond, the right-hander, steps in again. Has a closed stance as he looks out to Clay Carroll. Carroll throws, it misses, blown away with the fastball. It is 3-2 as they go right down to the final pitch. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, last of the 9th. 6-5 the score. Cincinnati leading, looking ahead to a 5th game tomorrow. The first pitch must retire Merv Redmond. The 3-2 pitch, ground ball. Perez at third base, up with it, throws to first base. He is out. He is attacked out. The ball is loose. He's safe. Lee May tagged him. He was thrown off the base by the throw. And as he tagged him, Redmond knocked the ball out of his glove. And umpire Bill Williams of the National League had called him out and then called him safe. Now Buford's the batter. Tying run at first base with 2 outs in the 9th. Sierra, since it drew May off the bag, I would imagine is charged to the throw. It is. Well, now Carroll looking, throwing to Buford. It is outside, ball 1. The sun shining brightly, and a game that has a lot of drama here in the last of the 9th inning, and Carroll stares in and throws a fastball right at the waist on the inside corner of the plate. 1 ball, 1 strike. Wayne Granger again up and throwing in the Cincinnati bullpen. Looks like Cincinnati had won the 4th game of the World Series. Their first. Back again, almost knocked Buford down. He has to fall down to get out of the way. And it's 2 balls and 1 strike. They played down, pulled around slightly toward right. He's a switch hitter, but does have power, and of course has hit a home run in the series. Working on a 12-game streak, Buford is, with another chance here in the 9th inning. He has no hits in this game. He's walked once and gone down 3 times. 2 balls, 1 strike. Carroll ready, throws, misses outside. It is 3-1. Now, do they let Buford swing away, or do they have him take? Moving the runner, Redmond, down in scoring position at second base and bringing up Paul Blair. We'll see the strategy of Earl Weaver and the Baltimore Orioles. Buford staring out. 3-1. And of course, Buford knows that Carroll must come in with a pitch. Fastball, he took a swing at it and missed it. It's strike 2, 3-2. And Redmond wasn't straying far off first base. We are 2 out and a 3-2 count. Only this time with a man on base. Cincinnati leads by a run. Ready, there goes the runner. He strikes out. Harold has the game for Cincinnati 6-5. Cincinnati has won its first game of the 1970 World Series. We are going to be back tomorrow for the 5th game. Final score, Cincinnati 6 runs on 8 hits and 3 errors. Baltimore 5 runs, 8